you avoid the need to use an oncologic formulation, you avoid variability in potency, and you avoid the additional safety risks that come with using repackaged products. So we believe we're addressing a real need in the marketplace by bringing LYTENAVA to European patients.
Welcome back, everyone, for another Virtual Investor What This Means segment. Today, we are featuring Outlook Therapeutics. My name is Janine Thomas. I am CEO of JTCIR, and I will be moderating this segment. I am very pleased to be joined by Jedd Comisky. He is Senior Vice President, Head of Europe of Outlook Therapeutics. Thank you for joining us, Jedd.
Great to see you, Janine. Really excited to be here. Appreciate the opportunity.
Before we get started, I just want to inform our audience that Outlook Therapeutics is publicly listed and trades on NASDAQ under the ticker OTLK. And during today's discussion, the company will be making forward-looking statements, and I encourage everyone to view the company's website at outlooktherapeutics.com for the latest information. So, Jedd, we are going to dive right in. You recently announced that the National Institute for Health and Care Excellence, also known as NICE, has recommended LYTENAVA as an option for the treatment of wet AMD. Can you provide some more insight into this recommendation and what this means for LYTENAVA?
So first of all, this is a significant milestone for LYTENAVA and Outlook, as it represents the first positive reimbursement decision worldwide. So just taking a step back, LYTENAVA, which is the first ophthalmic formulation of bevacizumab, was approved for the treatment of wet AMD in the UK by the MHRA in July of this year. And before that, in May of this year, it was also approved for the treatment of wet AMD by the European Medicines Agency, which covers the whole of the European Union. So once we achieved regulatory approval from the MHRA, very soon afterwards, we submitted a health technology assessment to NICE. NICE is a world-renowned reimbursement body, but one of the leading reimbursement bodies in the UK. And what NICE did between July and December was they assessed two things. They assessed the clinical effectiveness of LYTENAVA, and they assessed the cost effectiveness of LYTENAVA. And ultimately, on December the 4th, that culminated in NICE making a positive recommendation for LYTENAVA in the treatment of wet AMD, which means that now LYTENAVA is reimbursed for the treatment of wet AMD, and patients in England and Wales can access that treatment. I think, this really bolsters our commercial strategy in the UK. It means we're on track to launch in the UK. But it also, in my opinion, bolsters our commercial strategy for the whole of Europe. Because we have our first positive reimbursement decision, and NICE, as I said, are a world-renowned, very well-respected payer body. And they've assessed the clinical effectiveness and cost effectiveness of LYTENAVA and made a positive decision, which really just validates our value proposition for LYTENAVA across the whole region. So really is a significant milestone and a great way to end the year for Outlook Therapeutics.
Thanks for that, Jedd, and congratulations. I have to ask, wasn't bevacizumab already used to treat wet AMD in Europe? And how is your drug different? And what does this mean for doctors and their patients?
Very good question, Janine. And you're right. Bevacizumab actually for almost the last 20 years has been used in the treatment of wet AMD and ophthalmic indications. But it's not an ophthalmic formulation of bevacizumab that's being used. What's being used is off-label repackaged Avastin. And Avastin is indicated for the treatment of cancer. So it's an oncologic formulation of bevacizumab. And it's really important to differentiate between an oncologic formulation of bevacizumab and an ophthalmic formulation that's intended for intravitreal use. There's pharmacopoeia in Europe and in the US that set out strict quality standards for an ophthalmic solution that's intended for use in the eye. And we, as in LYTENAVA, we meet all of those standards, whereas Avastin does not meet those standards. And there's actually one really good example within all of the standards. There's one quality standard which is related to the number of particulates over 10 microns in diameter that are allowed to be in a solution. And if it's an oncologic solution, you're allowed to have up to 6,000 of those particulates. If it's an ophthalmic solution, you're only allowed up to 50. So I think that just illustrates the big difference in quality standards between the two different types of solutions. Other limitations with off-label repackaged Avastin include variability in potency, as well as adverse events that are related to safety, sterility, and also the fact that the product is stored under suboptimal conditions. I think actually people are very aware of the safety related issues with repackaged Avastin, but I don't think people are as aware of the variability in potency. And a group of US researchers did a study a number of years back where they took samples of repackaged Avastin from their normal supply chain and they compared it to a reference product of Avastin that they purchased from the manufacturer. And what they found was 81% of samples had significantly less protein concentration than that standard that they were comparing to. And that just illustrates the variability in potency and the fact that you really don't know what you're getting from a potency or an efficacy perspective when you used repackaged Avastin. So what it means is, LYTENAVA, as I said, is the first ophthalmic formulation of bevacizumab. It meets all of the quality standards set out for ophthalmic products. And also, it doesn't have to go through the repackaging process before it's used in the treatment of patients. So you avoid the need to use an oncologic formulation, you avoid variability in potency, and you avoid the additional safety risks that come with using repackaged products. So we believe we're addressing a real need in the marketplace by bringing LYTENAVA to European patients.
Really appreciate that background, Jedd. So let's look forward here. Can you speak to your commercial strategy and what investors should be on the lookout for in early 2025?
So our current focus is on Western Europe. And just to give you an idea of the size of the market, there are just over 8 million units of anti-VEGF sold every year in Western Europe. And of those, just under 3 million, or 34%, are off-label repackaged Avastin. So you can see there's a significant opportunity. And overall, the market in Europe is worth $3.5 billion a year. In terms of early 2025, we are laser focused on launching in the UK, following the positive NICE decision, and also in Germany. So those are the two countries that we're focused on in early 2025. That might seem like a small number of countries, but it's important to understand that those two countries combined, they represent 35 to 40% of the total opportunity in Western Europe. And we actually forecast that in both markets, we'll generate over 2 billion in gross sales over a 10-year period. So I think that, that illustrates the opportunity. And beyond the UK and Germany, we're obviously very busy working through market access activities in other key markets, and we hope to bring the product online in a number of other markets starting from early 2026. We're ready to launch this outlook in Europe. We have a great team in place who have a lot of ophthalmology experience, and we're very excited to launch this product as Outlook in Europe. But we're also in active discussions with potential partners with respect to out-license or a potential distribution agreement in Europe. What I would say is either way, we're very excited to bring the first ophthalmic formulation of bevacizumab to wet AMD patients across the region.
Jedd, certainly an exciting time ahead for Outlook Therapeutics and LYTENAVA. Can't wait to have you back for an update early in 2025. You're always welcome for that matter. And with that, this concludes our Virtual Investor What This Means segment featuring Outlook Therapeutics. I'd like to extend a huge thank you to Jedd Comisky today for joining us. I'd also like to thank our audience for your time and attention. And as a reminder, Outlook Therapeutics trades on NASDAQ under the ticker OTLK. And if you like what you saw today, I encourage you to visit OutlookTherapeutics.com for more information on the company, to sign up to follow the company to receive their alerts, as well as follow their social channels to stay current on the latest information. And you can also visit virtualinvestorco.com for a replay of today's segment, as well as our latest events calendar. I want to wish everyone a great rest of your day.